Hi guys, Starkiller1 here. I'm going to run a side-by-side comparison of Nute and Ackbar as leaders of this team, mainly because I had a lot of comments about maybe Nute might be a better leader, and I've kind of been deflecting them. It might be a bit of possessiveness over Ackbar, but I also have some real thoughts on that. I'm going to talk about it later. Right, okay, so Han Solo stunned Leia. So that's kind of interesting. Straight away, we've seen there that because Leia's not as fast under the Nute leadership, potentially she gets stunned. Okay, so this isn't over. Okay, I was about to say that isn't over because Acolyte might be able to get stealthed, but she didn't get stealthed. So maybe a little bit unlucky with the RNG there. But Nute kind of got wiped out. Okay, let's have a look at how Ackbar compares. We'll put him in with the exact same team and just have a look. We're going to end up running these a few times, I think, to give it a fair comparison. One of my main reasons why I like Ackbar over Nute, this team really is there for players who don't have premium characters. They're not at the top end of the game. Now, on that basis, let's remove all the whales, and to be honest, most of the kind of people who are paying to play. You're looking at people who've been in the game probably less than 12 months. Maybe they've got R2, but they're not going to have Thrawn yet. Might not have General Kenobi yet. Certainly they're not going to have CLS yet, but they've got a good chance of having R2. Okay, now those guys wouldn't have ever used the machine gun ray combination in HHAT because that kind of came and went. And they wouldn't unlikely have geared up Nute for the Nutini era. Now, if you haven't got Nute geared up already, then it's kind of a hassle to get him set up. Like as it was, I end up putting some extra gear on Nute. I end up spending some more ability mats just to update his abilities that I didn't need for those two combinations previously, and you know, that's kind of, I'm willing to do that because of the video, but yeah, it was a bit of a hassle, and I'm not sure that if I had to choose between which characters to update, Ackbar is useful in other parts of the game. I think that's what it comes down to. I prefer Ackbar because he's useful in other parts of the game. This is kind of going as you'd expect. The RNG didn't do anything horrible to me, and as a result, Ackbar's winning. But so, you know, I did a whole series of videos on this, so it's not too surprising. Basically, so the first point, Ackbar's useful in other parts of the game, and more players are more likely to have him up to a reasonable level already. Okay, that's very annoying. I'm just going to clear that and plug my iPad in. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. I've lost my train of thought. Okay, I'm back. Right, Ackbar is useful in other parts of the game. Nute, not really. I do think Nute has some advantages. I think there are certain teams where Nute would be more effective. Now, I actually think, as a side-by-side comparison, Nute is more likely to beat a Jedi training raid team than Ackbar is. I think both teams would require good RNG. But Nute, I think, requires slightly less good RNG because once he gets into his cycle, he is actually hitting harder. And so, you know, with Nute, if you get into cycle, you've got a decent chance of beating a Jedi training raid team. It's kind of going to be more a race to finish. With Ackbar, you're more likely to get into the cycle, but when you get into the cycle, as we saw, you're less likely to win. Now, I will try to do some videos on that. I haven't got time to do it today because I've got to get my 24-hour defense challenge up and running with the veterans. We're going to run Nute again. I keep forgetting, now I've got him with more gear and more abilities. He's a lot higher up in my roster. So there you go, found him. Okay, let's see how he does on this second run. So far, 1 win for Ackbar, 1 loss for Nute. Okay. A little bit unlucky. The RNG is that that's the second time that Han has stunned R2. Leia is gone because she not fast enough to get herself stealthed. Okay. Acolyte didn't stealth again. That's amazing. That's really unlucky. Okay. So Acolyte stealth. Now this is going to be interesting. I think is R2 no burning for R2. Okay, so Acolyte's now at 100% strength. This is where the Nute leadership is great. In this situation with Ackbar, I think there's a good chance that you draw, and possibly, and there's also a reasonable chance you actually lose if you get burnt. Now with Nute, once you're into the swing of things, you are going more often. So I'm absolutely certain they're not going to lose unless they're unlucky with the RNG and they get unstealthed. But yeah, it's very rare that Acolyte comes unstealthed. Although I guess you'd have to do an awful lot of attacks. I'm not sure I'm actually going to go to the end of this one. I think I might just set this one as a draw, because there's no way she's going to win. And, you know, it's unlikely she's going to lose. So we're done with that one. Let's go back to Ackbar. So I'm going to give Nute a draw on that one. There was no way he was going to win that. He just wasn't doing enough damage. You know, the problem is CLS. You could not kill CLS with that damage rate. He just recovers too quickly. Plus, of course, with R2 stealthing random characters on the other side, you really just don't. There was no way. So hand stun Leia, but you know, R2 gets out and stealths the team, and you know, these guys are into routine again. Okay, just to remind you where the count is, Nute has lost one and drawn one, but this is not about offense. What we're interested in is in offense, and so the draw is the same as a loss. So at the moment the score is 2-0 to Ackbar. Ackbar effectively has a game in hand. This is sort of going according to plan. I said what I was trying to say earlier is I do think Nute might do better against some of the Jedi training raid teams than Ackbar, but at the same time you can dodge those Jedi training raid teams. There are certain teams that are worth avoiding, and I point them out in my previous video. If you have both Nute and Ackbar, and if you have Boba Fett, you actually, you know, potentially all three of these guys. Oh, wow, okay. So that having said, you know, bad RNG is unlikely, Acolyte's unlikely to become unstealthed. She comes unstealthed there. So maybe I should have let the Nute videos run, but to be honest, I effectively gave him an offensive loss anyway. So that's two goes each, and so far Ackbar's 1-1, lost one. Nute is 1 draw, 1 loss. So scores 1-0. I think having been talking over these videos now, I think I do need to run a side-by-side comparison of these teams against some others, just to be fair. Because I said I am warming to the Nute leadership. I've got to be honest. There's no way I don't think the draw would have got the draw with the Ackbar leadership if you got to that point. So yeah, Nute's definitely got a lot to offer. This is a better start for Nute. Here we go. This is a much better start for Nute because they stun Nute. Oh no. Of course, that buff immunity on Princess Leia, so she is now not stealthed. This is feeling, it's going to be very RNG dependent. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe the AI won't attack Leia. Oh, I've got a really bad feeling about this. Because I'd actually like to see what happened if this team did get going. I think if you can get both characters stealth on this Nute Gunray team, you definitely win. It's a great team. But yeah, that one's another draw. Or potentially even a loss, but it's an offensive video, so therefore it was a draw as a loss anyway. Okay, so last chance for Ackbar. Yeah, he's won the challenge anyway on this occasion. I think it'd be interesting to run these teams, or certainly maybe the Boba team versus the Nute team against some Jedi training raid teams. So it happens. Here we go. And again, you see, this is where that extra speed is making such a difference here. And there are so many CLS teams in Arena at the moment that, you know, you're able to plot a run through against CLS teams and the weak Jedi training raid teams that you can beat. And, you know, that's pretty good. I'm going to let this run because you never know, the RNG might slip up again. It'd be interesting to see. I'm now kind of curious about it because I've not really seen that happen very often. Yeah, for me, Ackbar is the better lead at the moment because of the number of CLS teams out there and because there's a lot of speed out there. And I think that means that you're more likely to beat more of these teams with less attempts. And it's not saying Nute's not good, it's just saying you're more likely to win with less attempts. I think as CLS starts to disappear and there are more Jedi training raid teams, I think either Boba or, actually having looked at Nute now, I actually think possibly Nute might be a better lead against some of those Jedi training raid teams. Now, I think you're going to have to take more attempts to beat a Jedi training raid team. I think it's going to be 1 in 3, not 2 in 3 or 4 in 5. But I think they could win. Whereas I think the Ackbar team against Jedi training, a good Jedi training raid team, realistically, maybe it's a 1 in 5, 1 in 6, maybe even a 1 in 10 shot against some of them. So, you know, jury's out overall, but certainly against CLS, Ackbar is definitely the stronger lead, and it is purely down to the speed factor. And the speed factor means the RNG is less significant. So, you know, there it is. Ackbar wins on this occasion. He's easier to get hold of. In my opinion, I'm going to do more videos.